prospecting to get more listings as a real estate agent. So reverse prospecting traditionally is how to get more buyers for your listing. What I want to show you is reverse prospecting that will give you an opportunity to get more listings, and what some of the different things and the different technology that I'm using to create those opportunities. I think you're going to love it. Before we get started though, I want to personally invite you to join me for our next free 5-day listings challenge. The next challenge, well, you can go to freelistingschallenge.com. You can find out the information on when the next challenge is. But our first challenge was a smashing success. And from that, we actually offered the challenge participants an opportunity to attend a 2-day live virtual boot camp. And today, at the time of this live, today is day 2 of that boot camp. You can't get into that one, but if you want information on the next live virtual boot camp, you can just shoot me a message. We shared some killer stuff yesterday, and I want to unpack some of that here and give you an idea, kind of open your mind to how you can create listing opportunities out of thin air, and with what I'm calling, again, reverse prospecting for listings. Now, before I get too far into this, I want to make sure that it's actually working. I'm always paranoid that the software, that our live streaming software isn't going to work. I'm always confused about that. Let's see here. Let me make sure. It does look like maybe it's working. I think it's working. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. I just want to pull up one thing here. By the way, my voice, you're going to hear my voice is very tired from day 1 of our boot camp. So, all right, here we go. So what I'm going to do is give you a couple of different use cases of this idea of reverse prospecting for listings. And what we're doing, what you need for this process, what you need to do this process is you need to have a client or clients who are looking for a very specific criteria of property. And in fact, I just got a referral yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, from a client that we helped them sell their recreational property. We actually settled on Monday. This is a great story, by the way. This is a great story. So I'm going to sidetrack for a minute. So we settled on his property on Monday, and he's already referred me another client. And I could do this reverse prospecting for them, but I'm not super clear on their criteria yet. So we're not going to do it for them. But the great backstory of that is this client that I got on Monday came through a selective sequencing campaign. That's one of the marketing campaigns that we do. It's one of our client acquisition systems. And he had a personal friend who was a real estate agent that he had worked with for years. This guy's an entrepreneur. He owns laundromats and a restaurant. His wife owns a day spa. Super great entrepreneur. He came through the selective sequencing system. And because because he interacted, he engaged, I'd sent him personal videos, messages, and so forth. He gave me an opportunity to help him sell this recreational property that he had. He was so blown away that he's already referred me to someone else, and he's already talking about other ideas. He wants to buy a rental property later this year for someone in his family. And it all came from A, our client acquisition system, and B, just following up and doing what you say you're going to do for someone. Shocker, right? All right. So you have to have at least a client that you're crystal clear on what they're looking for. And I'm going to give you 2 examples where we're going to search for the data, and then I'll walk you through how we would follow up with them. So take a sip here. So I have just in the last 2 days, I think they both actually were yesterday, where I have clients looking for a very specific criteria of property, land, vacant land. And I'm going to use a technology called PropStream to build a list of properties that fit their criteria. And then we can use PropStream's built-in functionality to send them an email, send them a ringless voicemail, and I will also send them a postcard through a program called thanks.io. And if you guys can do me a huge favor, if you're listening in now, as I say some of these URLs, I'll add them to the description above, but maybe you can type them in the comment. So if you want to get a free trial with PropStream, which I'm going to share my my screen here now. If you want to get a free trial with PropStream, you can go to growwithjosh.com/PropStream. PropStream. Growwithjosh.com/PropStream. PropStream. Okay, you can get a free trial with them. And what you can do some crazy cool stuff in here. And in fact, we did a bunch of great stuff, some killer stuff yesterday on day one of our first 2-day live virtual listings boot camp. So it's a national database of property, and you can search with all kinds of crazy criteria. So one of the clients that came in yesterday, or potential clients for me, that we're going to do this, just kind of walk you through this concept here with, they were looking for 10 to 20 acres, 10 to 20 acre parcel in Perry or Juniata County, which is just, they're two rural counties that I'm close by. Okay. So what I can do in here is I can say, all right, I want to pull up Perry County. I'm going to pull up Perry County. Oh, the server is unavailable. Don't do this to me. We're live streaming. Come on. No, not Ohio. Hopefully now it'll come up. This is not Perry County. I think it's still stuck on Perry County, Ohio. There we go. Okay, good. Now it worked. It must have just been a quick glitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter. I'm going to filter this down, and the first thing I'm going to do is filter down. And look at all these awesome filters: high equity, cash buyers, bank owned, free and clear, senior owners, vacant land, tired landlords. Anyway, we're going to choose vacant land. And then under property characteristics, we're going to do the lot size. Now, I don't know the lot size in square feet. It requires you to do the lot size in square feet. So we fire up the old Google machine, and I'll say 10 acres in square feet. And there we go. So we got 10 acres in square feet. So we'll pop that in there. And then I want, he wants 10 to 20 acres. He actually said 10 or more, but I'm going to assume, I don't want to get too crazy with this. So I'm going to go 10 to 20 acres. And you can see just by doing that, we've got 544 possibilities here. But I want to narrow it down even more. I want to get I want to use some of the ninja filters that are built into here that we can narrow down even more. By the way, if you think this is pretty cool so far, let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. Certainly comment below and share this with other people that that maybe you have other people in your organization or other people in our community that might get help from this. So what do we have so far? We know he wants to buy. Vacant land, 10 to 20 acres in Perry County. But I want to take this a little bit farther, and I want to do ownership info. And I'm going to say, I want to narrow it to individuals, so individual owners. And I'm going to say last sale date. I'm going to say that they've owned for at least 5 years. Actually, years of ownership. Let's just do that. So we'll do years of ownership. We'll go 5 to 100. I think the max covers that, but so we got 435. Okay, 435. Now, what can I do with this data? What can I do with this data? Oh, well, I can do a whole bunch with this, which is really cool. So the first thing that I'm going to do with this data, and it's zooming in and going crazy. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select here, and I'm going to add them to a list. And I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty here. I'm not going to get into the, thank you, Mike, for dropping that link in here. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty here of actually creating the messaging. I just want to open your eyes to what's possible with this concept of reverse prospecting to get more listings for you. So I'm going to add them to a marketing list. I'm going to say this is Perry County, 10 to 20 acres ownership 5 years plus. Okay. That way I know what the criteria is. Now, here's one of the reasons why I love PropStream. And there's lots of things to love about this. Again, you can get a free trial with PropStream at growwithjosh.com/PropStream, PropStream. That is my affiliate link, full transparency. And if you sign up through that for the trial and you use the service, I'll get like a couple bucks from it. But I would appreciate it if you did. So what you can do is you can skip trace this info. Okay, so you can skip trace this info. That's one of the services. So you go over here, skip trace, and it costs 12 cents per contact. Now you only get charged if they're actually able to do it. Okay, so step one would be I would skip trace the contacts. Step two is I can then, through their campaign function, and this all can happen very quickly. Like the skip tracing takes 5 to 10 minutes, which is why I don't want to do it live here, because I don't just want to be sitting here and sort of twiddling our thumbs and waiting for that to happen. But what you can do then is you can send them an email to the skip traced data that came back and a ringless voicemail. Okay, so what would you say in that? Well, let me pull up one. Let me pull up one from yesterday that we did on the live or the virtual listings bootcamp. Let me which one did we do? I'm gonna do which one did we do yesterday? Oh, here we go. This was this was a campaign we did for an old expired campaign, an old expired. So I'll give you the we'll take a look at the so here was the email. I think this is the email that we sent. How do I get this a little bit bigger for you? Well, I'll just read it to you. It says, first name, I'm just curious, are you still interested in selling your property at blank address? If you could, please let me know either way. Thanks in advance, Josh. And here's the thing about that. I got two from the emails that I sent yesterday. One that's ready to list like right now. But we have to wait to meet until next week because his son has COVID and they have to quarantine. And another that it's a tenant occupied property, and the tenant is currently planning to stay until 2022. But if anything happens, but at that point, they are definitely going to sell. And if anything happens before that, they want to sell as well. So this is really good and really works. Okay. What am I going to say for this land listing? I'm just going to simply say, just curious, have you had any thoughts of selling your vacant land in Perry County? My client is interested in looking for some vacant land like yours. A message, something along those lines. What do the ringless voicemails sound like? Now, this may be a little bit tricky for me to figure out. I haven't looked at this before. Can I pull up? Okay, here we go. So I'll play this for you. You might not be able to hear it real loud. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I didn't realize my headphone was playing. Let me disconnect that. All right, so hopefully we can hear it now. Let's go.
Yes, hi, this is Josh Schoenly with eXp Realty. According to our records, you had tried to sell your property in Cumberland County back in 2019, and I was just calling to see if you still had any interest in selling. If you could, call or text me back and let me know either way. I would greatly appreciate it. 717-510-1452. 717-510-1452. Thanks.
So I find the data, I find that the properties that we're going to do this marketing campaign for. We're going to send them an email, we're going to send them a ringless voicemail, and then we're also going to send them a postcard using thanks.io. Thanks.io. You can create a free account and get some bonuses when you go to growwithjosh.com/thanks. growwithjosh.com/thanks. And if someone can put that in the chat as well. And again, yes, that's an affiliate link. And I don't know, I earn like 10%, but you get a better deal. You get some bonuses and it would cost you the same either way. So then what I would do there is I would send, and what I will do, I'm actually going to do this, is I will send this postcard, which by the way, I recently did this campaign. Okay. And I have
I have a property owner who we're kind of negotiating on behalf of a client, and we're really close. He just has to talk to his family and get back to me. So I'm going to send them this postcard, which is super, super easy to do with thanks.io, growwithjosh.com/thanks. My clients are interested in buying your vacant land in Newville. So in this case, I'd say my clients are interested. My client is interested. I'll say my client is interested in buying your vacant land in Perry County. We will pay all closing costs and any additional fees. Call or text me back at this number. And then the back, this is one of the cool things about thanks.io, is the back of this is handwritten font. And they have a bunch of different fonts that are all handwritten in nature. Okay. So we're doing this like unified front of marketing with this process. Okay. So we find the information in PropStream. Okay. We skip trace the info. We send them an email. We send them a ringless voicemail, and we send them a postcard with thanks.io. And you can get all of that done depending on the size of the contact list. You can get all of that done relatively affordably and create listing opportunities out of thin air. You're creating opportunities out of thin air. Let me give you another example. Another client that came in yesterday, they're looking for vacant land, 2.5 to 5 acres in a very specific school district. So what I can do, I can go back to PropStream, and then I want to open it up for Q&A here after I show you this example. So they were looking in an area called Shippensburg in my market. Okay, so it already defaulted to vacant land. We just have to change. I could have just cleared. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to clear that. I'm going to clear all. I'm going to clear the filters. We're going to do Shippensburg, PA, and then we're going to filter it down. We're going to choose vacant land. We are going to choose. I need to go over to the handy dandy Google machine. So 2.5 acres is this much. So that's property characteristics, lot size, 2.5 acres to 5 acres. You know what? I'm going to get crazy. We're going to go all the way up to 6. They didn't say 6. They said 2 to 5, but I know this is going to be not a ton of contacts that come back. So 103, that's not too bad. So we'll go back to the filters. I'm going to go. So here's some other cool things that you can do with this and why I love it so much. And again, check it out at growwithjosh.com/PropStream. I can say on market and I can choose no. Okay, so that didn't actually do anything to cut them down, but in some cases that will, if there are actually on the market. And then I'm going to say 5 to 100 years here. Actually, I want to see 9, only 9. Interesting. So I'm going to see what it does if I just leave it. Still 9. Okay. So that really cut us down here. I'm going to see what happens if we do 2, 13. So here's what I am guessing. What I am guessing is some of the data here is maybe not super accurate. So in this case, because it's a really small list, if I just let it totally open, I'm just going to go, I'm not even going to bother. It's 103. So here's what I know. Just doing some math. I could do this whole campaign that I'm talking about, finding the prospects, skip tracing, emailing, ringless voicemail, and direct mail. I could probably get all of that done for under $100, and put together a transaction potentially out of thin air. And if it doesn't work for my clients, well, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, why don't we get it on the market and see what the market thinks about it? And oh, by the way, I am actively building a database of other clients who are looking for vacant land in Cumberland County, where Shippensburg is. So with that said, I want to open it up for Q&A. Please, please, please. I would love to hear from you all if you have questions about this. And again, the resources for you all, growwithjosh.com/PropStream. And I'll add the link to that link to the description here. And the thanks.io, it's growwithjosh.com/thanks. Okay, /thanks. So check those out. And sign up. There's free trials with both of them. You can check it out. You can play around with it. And these are just a couple of little examples of how you can do what I'm calling reverse prospecting for listings. Reverse prospecting for listings for real estate agents. And there was one other thing I wanted to point out. So we went super in depth on all of this in the virtual listings bootcamp. And even I had done a mini boot camp last week, which live on the boot camp, I actually did the ringless voicemail and the email. I didn't send the direct mail because we wouldn't get anything live there. But just from the email and the voicemail, I got a listing appointment while we were on the mini camp, which was pretty cool for sure. So send me a private message if you would like to get on the waiting list for the next virtual listings bootcamp. Get signed up for the next free 5-day listings challenge. It's just freelistingschallenge.com. That link should be above. You may want to watch this video a couple of times and kind of let it sink in and so forth. I want to make sure that I don't have any questions coming in on any of the other platforms. But whether you comment or send a question live, or you're watching it after the fact that we're live, please let me know. Please don't hesitate to comment. I do my best to reply to all comments, whether or not I get them. Or not. So Chris says RVM doesn't violate DNC. I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV. So you have to do your own due diligence as far as that goes. I will tell you, I'm letting it rip. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to. My opinion doesn't matter. I'm not an attorney. But I've been doing this and I love it. I love it. Chris says good info. Thank you for that. Lacey, the boot camp already happened. So at the time of this live session, day 1 was yesterday, day 2 is today. However, we already have scheduled our second virtual listings boot camp for March 24th and March 25th. And our second free 5-day listings challenge. Now the boot camp, there is a cost to, but the listings challenge is 100% free. And the results, if you got some results from that, any kind of result from that, do me a huge favor and comment below. I was amazed at the amount of results of people getting listing appointments, people actually taking listings during the free 5-day challenge. So check that out at freelistingschallenge.com, freelistingschallenge.com. Really good stuff there, really good stuff. And there you have it. So that's one example of how I am using what I call reverse prospecting for listings, reverse prospecting to get more listings, right? We're not using a listing and reverse prospecting for buyers, which is kind of the traditional definition of reverse prospecting. No. We're using it to get more listings because heaven knows we are in a massively low inventory market. And you all, as well as me, we could all use some more listings. So do me a huge favor, smash the like button, turn on the notification. If you're watching on YouTube, ding the bell, share this with others that might get value from it. Help out our community, help me out, help me, help others as well. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. Look forward to chatting soon. And as always, if there is anything at all I can do to help or support you, comment below, shoot me a private message, call, text, email me, schedule a call at josh15.com. Whatever works for you, let me know. Take care and hopefully